and welcome to this week's edition of Let's Talk, the discussion program with our commentators, Tom and Marie.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Oh, Tom, you went to London last week, didn't you? You told me you had a meeting with an important businessman.
Yes, I did. I interviewed the chief executive of a major UK financial group. He works in the city.
So, you visited the heart of international high finance. Interesting.
Yes, it was interesting, actually. You know, the city is very small, but very important in the world of finance. I mean, did you know that the City of London, that's its full name, is just 1 square mile, or 2.6 kilometers, and that only 7,000 people live there?
Really? So few people?
Yes, only 7,000 people live there, but more than 320,000 people a day commute into the city to work there.
Wow! 1/3 of a million commuters every day. Can we explain to our viewers just why this part of London is so important?
Of course. The city is a global financial centre with hundreds of banks, financial exchanges, insurance companies and investment companies. You know, there are more than 500 companies in the city.
That's right. And it also has several important commodity markets. The city is the place to buy commodities such as oil, gold and silver. In the city, people carry out all kinds of financial transactions. They borrow money, save money, invest money, buy and sell commodities, buy and sell insurance for all kinds of things, from oil tankers to skyscrapers.
Exactly, Marie. Together with Tokyo and New York, the city is one of the world's most important financial centres. It's situated between the time zones of Asia and America. In fact, offices in the city don't have just one clock, they have at least 4, with clocks showing the time for Tokyo, Zurich and New York.
So, the city's open for business 24 hours a day. Well, do only people from the world of finance work there?
Oh, no. Lots of other highly skilled people work there. For example, many lawyers, accountants and computer experts work there. They help the banks and insurance companies to work smoothly.
It's worth remembering, too, that the city is a beautiful place to visit. It can be ultra-modern and medieval at the same time. There are some beautiful old buildings, especially the churches, and some innovative new buildings such as the Lloyd's Insurance Building and the Swiss Re Building, or the Gherkin as it's now known.
But remember, don't visit the city at weekends. There's nobody there, and most of the shops and pubs are closed.
Huh. Thank you for that tip. Well, the city is the financial heart of the UK. And perhaps of Europe. But it is also an interesting place to visit with many interesting buildings. Thanks to our commentators.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone. And see you again soon for our next interesting appointment with Let's Talk. So, the City of London is the financial heart of the UK, the heart of international high finance. We say a thing or a place is the heart of something, we mean it is the center. Well, the City of London is very important. 320,000 people commute every day to work there. To commute means to travel regularly from work to home to work. Usually, the distance is quite far. A person who does this is called a commuter. The city is important because it's full of financial institutions. For example, insurance companies. These are companies that insure people or property. This means they guarantee against loss or damage. Now, most people have car insurance. You pay your car insurance every year, and if you have an accident, your insurance company pays for the damages. Hopefully. Going back to the city. There are investment companies, companies that buy shares of other companies to make a profit. And there are several commodity markets. Several is more than 2, but not many. A commodity is a product that you can buy and sell in large quantities. Coffee, oil, gold are all commodities. The place where you buy and sell commodities is called a commodity market. And of course, there are lots of banks in the city. A bank is an institution that carries out financial transactions. To carry out means to do. Financial transactions are the things you do with money. Some examples are, you can borrow money. To borrow means to take and then to give back later. You can save money. To save means to keep secure. The bank keeps the money for you. You can invest money. To invest means to buy something or put your money into a company to have a financial return. People invest money to make more money. See you again soon. Good evening to all viewers, and welcome to this week's edition of Let's Talk, our discussion program with our expert commentators, Tom and Marie.
Good evening, Eric.
Good evening.
Well, according to the data from the latest European Conference on Migration, the number of migrants arriving in Europe has increased enormously over the last 5 years. EU politicians are divided on this issue. Some of them believe that migration is a bad thing and causes lots of problems. On the other hand, other politicians maintain that migrants contribute to the developing of the economy. Could I ask what you think about these issues?
Well, in my opinion, migrants don't help our economy. On the contrary, they take jobs from local people and push down pay rates for both unskilled and skilled workers. In fact, migrants are often paid less than the legal minimum wage.
I'm afraid I don't agree with you, Marie. Many employers use immigration to plug labour shortages, for example, in agriculture. Farmers employ thousands of Eastern European workers to pick their crops, as they can't find local workers to do the work.
Oh, that's true. In addition, there are low birth rates in most European countries, particularly in Spain and Italy. The economies of these countries need more workers, especially for difficult jobs that local people don't want to do.
Exactly, and it's important to remember that migrant workers contribute to the economy because they pay taxes.
Well, this only happens if migrant works legally. Unfortunately, many migrants come into Europe illegally.
You're right, Eric. They come in illegally and they often form an underclass that doesn't have access to healthcare and education. That's why they sometimes get involved in criminal activities. I think some immigration is okay, especially if the immigrants are asylum seekers or refugees who can't return to their home countries. Apart from this, I think European governments should put a stop to immigration.
How do you suggest they do this?
Well, the EU should do more to help develop the economies of North and West Africa. This would help economic migrants, migrants who come to Europe to work, to stay at home, find a job and develop their local economies.
Come on, Marie. Today, the world is a global village. People have always moved around the world. Don't forget, for example, the millions of Europeans who migrated to North America at the beginning of the last century. They experienced the same problems that the Africans are experiencing today.
That's right, Tom. Migration is as old as the human race. People have always moved to where it is possible to make a living. Maybe we should get used to the ideas that our society is becoming more and more multiracial. Okay, this discussion has been very interesting, but unfortunately it is time to say goodbye to Tom and Marie.
Goodbye, Eric.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, and see you again soon for our next installment of Let's Talk. First of all, let's look at the difference between migration and immigration. Migration is the movement of people from one country to another. A migrant is a traveler who moves from one country to another. There are two kinds of migrants: economic migrants, who come from poor countries and look for work in Europe, and asylum seekers and refugees, people who must leave their home country because their lives are in danger there. Immigration is the migration of people into a country to live there. So, an immigrant is a person who goes to a foreign country to live there. Data shows that the number of migrants coming to Europe is increasing. Data is another word for information, usually numbers. Well, there are divided opinions in the EU. The EU stands for the European Union. Some EU politicians think it's a good thing because migrants contribute to the development of European economies. This means they help the economy to grow. How do they contribute? They pay taxes. Tax is the money we pay from our salaries to the government. And employers, these are the people who give jobs to other people, use migrants to plug labor shortages. This means they give jobs to the migrants because there are no local people to do the work. Other EU politicians think immigration is a bad thing because migrants push down pay rates. This means they reduce the amount of money that people are paid. How do they push down pay rates? They are often paid less than the legal minimum wage. This is the lowest legal salary a person can receive. Some migrants work illegally. Illegally means against the law. Migrants who pay taxes work legally. Legally means following the law. I'm afraid I have to say goodbye now. I'll see you next time for another discussion on Let's Talk.